Hello everyone, Striker here. Today we're gonna take a look at a PDW, the As-Val. We will also look at the PDWs as a whole. The As-Val was one of my favorite PDWs in Battlefield 3, and with the introduction of the second Assault DLC, it was brought to Battlefield 4. With a rate of fire of 900, it's one of the fastest shooting guns in the game. Not only that, but it does a maximum of 27 damage up to 5 meters, which then drops off to 15.4 at 44 meters. By the sound of these numbers you might think it's overpowered, but of course the As-Val also has some bad attributes. One of them is the magazine size, with 21 bullets is the smallest of all the PDWs. Of course the higher damage means that you need less shots to kill your target. You only need 4 shots if your target is closer than 11 meters. This theoretically gives you enough ammo to kill 5 people with a magazine. Of course this will hardly ever happen, because you will easily miss shots because of the high RPM and recoil. Before we look into the recoil, let's look at the reload times first. With a 1.95 second reload if there is still a round in the chamber, and a 2.8 second reload if you are completely out, it's at the top of the PDW. The only problem with this is the high RPM. This will cause you to have to deal with the empty reload time way more than with the short reload time. So when playing with the As-Val you will experience the reload times as long, because you will most likely be hitting the long reload time most of the time. Of course there is an easy counter to this, and that is to reload often. The reload times, fast RPM and small magazine size are all reasons why the As-Val is a bad weapon when you come across more than one target. If you need to reload in the middle of a firefight and you have no cover nearby, those 2.8 seconds will be your death. But all these stats also make it a very good gun against a single person. I have won so many one-on-one firefights where I started firing that split second later, or my accuracy was appalling, and that is when those good stats come to the rescue. The As-Val is a true comeback gun. Recoil wise, the As-Val is in the middle of the PDW pack, with a 0.3 vertical recoil. The horizontal recoil is a bit worse, 0.3 left pull and 0.4 right pull, which is on the higher side of the horizontal recoil. The As-Val comes with a fixed suppressor. This means that you can't really change the recoil value with any attachments. The fixed suppressor also has another influence on the gun, namely the muzzle velocity is very low, at 300 meters per second. Both of these make the As-Val a very bad gun at range, but this should have been apparent from the start, with the fast RPM and the higher damage model. This also makes that the laser sight is quite the obvious pick as an attachment, to reduce the hipfire spread a little. Just be wary that it will give you a location away at longer ranges. If you should find yourself in that situation, be sure to turn it off. The last stat we'll take a look at is the first shot recoil multiplier. It's pretty high, at 2.55 it's the second highest. For me this makes the choice for a grip very easy, and that is the angled foregrip. This reduces that first shot recoil multiplier to 2, which makes it a bit more manageable. Of course, if you want to go full on hipfire, you could also use the stubby grip. All in all, the As-Val is a very good one-on-one gun, but slightly worse if you come across multiple targets. So be sure to be packing a sidearm with which you are comfortable. Now that we have talked about the As-Val, I want to discuss PDWs as a whole for a second. I feel, as many others do, that the PDWs are good weapons in their own class, which makes them slightly less useful. The reason for this is that PDWs are in general close combat weapons, but if you play Engineer, the class PDWs are exclusive to, you are most likely playing on a somewhat bigger and more open map. This is of course because of the fact that the Engineer has good anti-vehicle measures, and vehicles tend to only be present on larger, more open maps. Now where do PDWs shine? As I said before, CQB. So, Domination, TDM in some cases Rush, and smaller conquest maps as Operation Rocket for example. In all these modes of maps, the Engineer's gadgets are very useless, or only useful for trolling. But in general you will not find that many uses for an RPG or Stinger in TDM or Domination. So in the current situation, PDWs aren't really that useful to use when you need an Engineer, or the Engineer isn't that useful when you need a PDW. The easiest solution for this, in my opinion, is to switch the assault rifle with the PDW. The risk of doing this is that medics will become unstoppable in CQB. It would probably make engineers better all around, but that isn't really the problem. If handled correctly, This might require a balance to PDWs. It could work since medics are already a CQB class in contrast to the engineer. This classification of course also brings certain issues with it. As I said, medics could become unstoppable. But we would never be sure without it being put into use on the battlefield. This is just my 2 cents on the weapon classes in Battlefield 4. That was it for this review. If you liked the video, be sure to leave a comment or like it. And if you are curious about what is to come next, subscribe to this channel. See you in the next one.